Lakers in 5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do, but mine's not for the Lakers. I know Shannon. He loves LeBron. He thinks LeBron's the GOAT. He loves the Lakers. He loves primetime. We know that. But I'm gonna go somewhere different. My favorite team's the Warriors, and therefore I'm gonna say it could be Luka with a bazooka while smoking a hookah. Golden State in 5. I think that's pretty good.
Hello and welcome to Game Time with Jack and Josh. I'm Joshua Lubaro. Alongside me is Jack White. And today we're joined by Sara. I don't know your last name, but I just know your first name.
It's Pinzon. Sara Pinzon.
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Of course. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
It's a pleasure to have you.
So I know you are on Wootton Sports Medical, right? Is that
Sports medicine, yeah.
Sports medicine, right? And you also play sports like softball.
Yeah.
To start us off, what is your favorite sport?
My favorite sport to watch? Well, okay, it depends. So my leisure favorite sport to watch would probably be soccer, but my favorite sport to work for is definitely football.
What is it about football that, is so appealing?
Football has a sports culture very specific to them, where they're always so eager to be at practice. He's so eager to be with their team. And each player has such an individual personality that adds to the team as a whole. And it's just very special to see them get very excited about making a play, like a good play, or it's the culture of their sport that is the most nice to be around.
I can agree with that because I had a lot of friends last year who were on the football team. Jimmy, Jake, Sebi, Ryan, those guys.
Oh, I remember Sebi. Sebi was the best.
Yeah, he's kind of a so. But I understand. Yeah, I can second that. With like how tight knit they are, and yeah, although I don't play football because I'm too small. But
what do you mean? You look like Primary Lewis right now.
Well, I play. Do you look at see my arms? Nah, but I play the real football, soccer. So,
yeah. Football with a U and a little squiggly.
What is the most common injury you've seen in like our school's athletes?
I would say a lot of our athletes have ankle injuries. So whether it's a sprain or they just roll their ankle and they get to us and they're like, it hurts. It's most commonly the ankles.
What is like the primary way, like the first way that you address those injuries?
So whenever a player comes in saying, oh, I hurt my ankle, we want to know the history of their body. So like if you've ever injured your ankle before, and then we want to know how it happened. So we ask them questions like, did you hear a pop, snap, or crack? Do you have numbness or tingling? Tell us exactly what happened. That way we can visualize how the structure of the body could have potentially gotten hurt.
Well, that's I think that obviously people have different types of injury history and are more prone to injuries than others. So for those people that maybe have or more prone to injuries like that, are there any like extra precautions that you take or a different way you approach it, or is it just kind of?
I think injury prone people are people who have don't dedicate as much time in taking care of their body as they should. Injury-prone athletes are common. It is common for you to re-sprain a ligament because your ligament is like a rubber band. When you stretch it, it will not go back entirely to how you first got it. So something an injury-prone athlete can do is get tape before their practice, wear a brace, an ankle brace, a wrist brace, whatever body part that they're hurting at, and make sure you're strengthening the structures around your injured area.
I think it's very interesting that you mentioned how like being injury prone is like can be attributed to not taking care of your body well enough. And I think a lot of professional athletes need to hear that, because once you get to a certain level, I think you can kind of lose focus of the small things, and by that I mean the detail-oriented aspects of your health, your nutrition, the way you recover from practices and competitions. So that's something like I thought about too. Me being a swimmer is like, how well do I need to take care of my body in order to stay healthy? And I think that's interesting the way you address that, because I've been, I agree with your sentiments there. So I'll let Josh ask the next question.
Yeah.
So, our bodies have a lot of muscles, as we know, and we have also a lot of bones. Our bones are not likely to get hurt that often. If you fracture a bone, the scar tissue will make it strong again. But when you have other pieces like your ligaments and your tendons, those you want to make sure that the muscles around it have the strength to um, protect these places in our bodies that are injured. So making sure you have a really good warm up, a really good cool down, and then you take the extra steps to focus on the endurance of your muscles is very important for any athlete, for any sport.
What made you interested in sports medicine?
It's actually a funny story. I have always been very inclined towards medicine. I always thought I wanted to do something in the medical field, whether it was being a pediatrician, being in the trauma um, area. But I playing softball, I broke my nose, and I met the athletic trainer here at Wootton, Brenna Allen, that day, and she was really good at taking care of me and being super patient about everything. And then I think I sprained my ankle. So I would be in her office very often. And then I realized that this was something that sparked my interest and really brought me joy. And then when I started to spend even more time with her and learn about how the body parts, like how important it is for you to take care of your body to make sure that you do not get injured often, and how physical therapy is really beneficial for even people who are completely healthy, because remember, we want to make our body strong so it can hold us for as many years as we want to go.
I think that last aspect about doing physical therapy, like for even completely healthy people, I think that's like the most important thing, or one of the most important things that you can do, because it's like studying for a math test, even though like you're really good at math and you get all the concepts, like kind of reinforcing that technique and those habits can really lead to a lot more consistent well-being of your taking care of your body and practicing those good habits. So totally agree with that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think with Miss Brenda as well, she's been a really vital vital piece to Woon Athletics. I mean, when I got my wrist fractured in 2023, she helped me out a lot with recovery. Although I missed that season, like my wrist is now perfectly fine. I can ride again and whatnot. So I want to second that with Miss Brenda sparking that interest. Tell me about a time that you felt really proud about the help you gave an athlete, whether like in football or basketball or anything like that.
So I am usually very proud of what I do. I put a lot of effort in making sure that the tape on an athlete looks good and feels good. But definitely one of my proudest moments was when there was a kid in, I want to say Whitman, but that might be wrong, playing soccer. And he rolled his ankle. They called, the ref called time. We went out to the field. And when we tried to communicate to this athlete, he was having a really hard time speaking English. Spanish is my first language. I moved here a few years ago. So being able to provide the care in my home language made me feel really good about myself, and knowing that my background contributes to athletics as a whole.
Actually, that's a crazy story. Actually,
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really
really
cool.
cool story. I do have a question. Here at Wootton, who's the most common like player you see in the
So I will say, I can't name names. I'm not allowed to do that. But I will say some of our football players who play year-round sports like lacrosse and basketball, we see very, very often.
That makes sense, honestly. Yeah.
It does, and we have a really good time seeing them. Like we miss them when we don't see them, because when they're in there, it's just a funny time.
Speaking on funny times, any funny moments? I mean,
There was a time where we were taping ankles, and there was two athletes on two different sides of the room, and then one of them looks at his ankle, and then he looks up and he goes, "Hey, you and I have the same size ankles." And then it was just so random because he said it like when it was rushed, so everybody was in there, and everybody got thrown back. Like, what are you talking about?
same size ankles.
Same size ankles.
I mean, how often does that happen?
I don't know.
It's
I
pretty
mean,
rare.
let's see your ankle. No, you have a bigger ankle than mine. Then I do.
Yeah.
Patriot is a little bit taller than me, so.
I'm just there. A little bit different body plan, that's right. So, what is the biggest misconception, in your opinion, that people have about working in sports medicine?
I think people think that all we do is physical therapy, which me personally, that's not my favorite aspect of um athletic training. Athletic training is, or what I love the most about it, is the adrenaline of getting onto the field and having to assess your environment, assess the athlete and their emotional state, and look on your body because we carry our med kits and say, what do I have on me that can help this person in this moment? Um, so people think that athletic trainers like, oh, like we just give you your PT and that's about it. But what we do is more than that. We make sure we have preventative care, which is your physical therapy is preventative care, but it's also recovery. Preventative care could be taping, it could be making sure your muscles are heated and stretched before your practice, and also the emergency medicine of when a player goes down. That's our moment. That's our responsibility.
I don't want to take away from your sports medical history
Absolutely not.
background, but I know you play softball,
I do.
and season's coming up.
Yes, sir.
So, what are you looking forward to this season?
This season I'm looking forward to building connections with my teammates and motivating people to try their best at every practice. Playing a sport is very hard because you're in a team where your mistake can make or break the game, right? And often in female sports, it is likely for them to be more drawn to the mistakes rather than the successes. So I want to bring my team up and make sure that we learn from what we're doing and we feel good when we do good things. So let's always have a positive attitude. So, hey, I messed up. It's okay. Next play, we got this.
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring up that mistakes aspect because, like, me being a swimmer, like, when I make a mistake and I do poorly in a race, like, that's on me, but it's also I'm the only one affected. And when in a team sport like softball, and you mentioned earlier that a lot of the athletes that you see are football players, basketball players, those team sports, you can make one mistake, you miss a shot, you lose a game. You strike out, that you lose a game. You throw an interception, you lose a game. Like, that's something that you have to live with, and it affects the whole team. So it's much more like different dynamic for team sports than it is for individual sports like swimming.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely.
just I noted.
There's a fun fact. I'm a swim coach.
You are?
So I am a swim coach.
Where do you coach?
I coach for MSTC at Germantown, the swim center.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a couple of swimmings there for
Yeah.
high school. Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I see you guys all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you lifeguard there?
I used to. I lifeguard in the outdoor pool, not the indoor
okay.
one.
Huh.
But my main role right now is coaching and teaching.
Do you like it?
I do.
Do you coach like the little like kids or like mid-teens?
My age group goes from 4 to 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't do anybody younger than 10. I
Really?
tried. Yeah, I
Teaching the new gens.
For me, it was harder to teach the older kids.
Really?
Actually.
I do so much better with them because, like, I feel like I can relate to them a lot more.
Oh yeah, like yeah.
That makes sense.
Like
But then also through kids, you can be also more silly, and you can
play around and have more fun.
So they learn more through like playing and like modeling their brains to having fun, whereas like teens, as like us, we will focus more on being good.
Yeah.
They don't care
performance.
about being good; they care about having a good time. So
Yeah.
it's just a different aspect.
That's my problem.
Do the kids say like brain rot terms there?
Actually, this Sunday I got called batty by one of my kids.
How old are they?
She was 8. Yeah, she was a little girl.
Actually, I'm not surprised. I feel like
And she was like, "Okay, period, baddie." And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
okay.
I just sent you to do a 50. What are we talking about?"
at least it wasn't 100. That's why they're probably happy.
I don't make those from hundreds.
They're lucky.
They haven't grown to that skill yet, but once they do, they will have to swim their hundreds.
You can always punish them too if they say things you don't like. Just make it swim. It always works.
Punish your kids, everybody.